I recall 6 months ago, on a Sunday morning, I guess, saying to you, I'm Father Jim Feely, and I've been assigned here as the priest celebrant for your parish for the next 6 months. Where did those 6 months go? I can't believe that they have already passed. And now it is the end of that term, so I will be moving on. As it happens, in my letter when I first received that back in April, I think it was, it said that I was going to leave my place in the role of priest celebrant at St. Peter and Paul in Hortonville. You all know where Hortonville is? I didn't. Well, I've been through there. I went to New London for some reason. But anyway, that said that I would be going to Green Bay to St. Elizabeth Seton Parish, and then semicolon, to St. Peter and Paul Parish, semicolon, and St. Mary of the Angels Parish, period. That seemed about enough, didn't it? Well, anyway, that's where I'm going now, is to St. Peter and Paul and St. Mary's Parish on the east side. But you won't be bereft, you won't be left alone, because by God's design, Bishop Robert Morneau will be coming to St. Elizabeth Seton Parish in much the same capacity as I've been serving you. He is retiring at this time from Resurrection Parish in Alloway, and really, I guess, I don't know if he's taken any kind of time off, but he will be here tomorrow for New Year's Day or the Feast of the Mother of God. So he will be here as the priest celebrant. He's retiring as pastor. He's retired as the auxiliary bishop of Green Bay. I think it's about 2 years ago now. And so you'd think maybe he'd take a rest. But he's coming here to be the priest celebrant, working with Sister Marla, who will continue as the parish pastoral leader. And Bishop Morneau already is a friend with Sister Marla. They already know each other quite well for years of working together in different capacities. So I think the transition will be rather easy. Sister will continue as the pastoral leader, and I'm just wanted to compliment her on the way that she has fitted in here. She has welcomed me, and I thank you, Sister, for that. That at the same time that she was being introduced to the parish, and did it very smoothly for me, so that I have had a good experience here. And she will continue with the same kind of devotion, and she is a very creative and energetic person. And I have witnessed the ways that so many of you have welcomed her. And when you greet her, there's just a genuine attitude about it. And I know that will continue to grow. There's certainly more to come. Creativity, ingenuity, freshness. For me, it has been a very interesting experience. I was at Hortonville for 14 years, so I did learn where it was. I got back there quite frequently. But was there for 14 years and decided that maybe I needed a change. They needed a change. They needed to listen to somebody else for a while. And when I came here, after about 2 weeks, I kept hearing about 3 things. God bless for one. The first was, what a voice. Wow, what a voice. I hadn't heard that for a while, a voice. I know years ago, a couple of people told me that I should apply for the job with the Green Bay Packers to do their highlight films. They didn't want me to play football, they wanted me to talk. And others here said, Father, again and again I've heard that, you should be in radio. I don't think they were dismissing me from the priesthood, but they thought that I should. But the second was my humor, and I have been gifted with that. I think most people who are humorous, comics, for instance, who go on to that, they're probably insecure, probably are insecure. You know, if you can get people laughing with you, you feel a little bit more in control, you know. So it's not as if I manipulated you in trying to laugh at my funny stories, if they were funny. The third thing, of course, I say blessed, was that I really received a great deal of affirmation about the homilies. And that's been true about you in so many ways here at St. Elizabeth Seton. Your affirmation, your acceptance, your willingness to say the kind word, the increasingly confident word. And so I'm grateful to you for that. And today, by the way, of course, I think you know, is the feast of the Holy Family. And the scriptures were such that, you know, they're bringing to bear, and a thing I think has to be true for us, you as family, but also as the parish as family. And especially in the letter to the Hebrews, so much of Abraham was able, in the darkness of all kinds of things that hadn't happened for him, good things, I mean, that could have been the idea of him wanting heritage and ascendancy. It was negative. And yet he persevered in his faith in God. Abraham, as Abram, before he was Abraham, was really a pagan. He didn't know about God, or at least he didn't know about the God. And so he was able to have that act of faith, that life of faith. And really, that I think is something that we need. I hate to think of Catholic people coming to Mass on a Sunday, and I think sometimes that's why people leave, is that we just come and we get comfortable, and then when it's all over, well, that didn't take too long. It shouldn't be something that we look at our watches about. It should be something that we are trying to reach into that treasury of what is our Catholic faith, and then to live it as thoroughly as we possibly can. So I trust that that's going to continue to grow in all of us here. I'll be keeping score, by the way. What does he mean by that? Are you awake? But God bless you. I just end with this. Some years ago, a woman with whom I speak rather frequently lost her dad. And just a few weeks, really, not even a year before he died, he went into hospice. And when it was time for him to go, the hospice caretaker that was working with him called the daughter, the woman that I knew, and told her, well, it's time. Your dad is going to soon be leaving us, and you get the siblings and the grandchildren together. And she said, you know, there are 5 things, and maybe some of you have already heard me say this, but she said, there are 5 things that I think can be said to somebody as that person is passing from this life. Her order, I think, was, first of all, thank you. Thank you for your life. Thank you for all that you've been, for me especially, but for anybody, they're your family. And secondly, I ask your forgiveness. I'm not thinking of anything specific, but just I ask for your forgiveness so that there isn't anything between us and nothing to have to be cleaned up. And then the third was, I forgive you. Again, not something specific, I'm not holding a grudge, not holding on to things, just I forgive. I want us again on both avenues to be clean. And then, I love you. I love you. Probably we don't say that enough. I love you. Oh, yeah. It's embarrassing or something, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. And it should be that there should be that sense that we can heal by our loving. And then finally, goodbye. Finally, the goodbye. It's done. You can go. You have my permission to keep on going, living in eternity. I've used that often in different capacities oftentimes at funeral liturgies. But then I decided to use it when I was in the hospital, and I had been called to the hospital by the other chaplains, the lay chaplains, because somebody was dying. And we'd go into the room, and very often that little cubicle was filled with people. The relatives have been called, and so people are there because they know this mom, dad, sibling is dying. And I started using that more frequently with them, as saying, I hope that all of you have had a chance to say goodbye to mom or dad. And they usually said, it's kind of a group of people that I think that when I come into the room that they're a little uncomfortable. I remember when I was first ordained, people in the parish, I don't think they called for the priest to come because they were a little afraid that the priest might scare the person to death. Here comes the priest. Oh, here comes death. Oh, because the best example is that one evening, it was about 10 o'clock or 10:30 at night, and I was called to this home. In those days, it was very often home. And as I'm going in the door, and there were people outside and people coming and going because they were all called, but the person I meet coming out the door is the coroner. I should be there before the coroner, because it's death. But the coroner is the one who declares, hey, Joe is dead. So, but what I'm getting at is that there would be an understanding that this kind of formula, call it, can be used in circumstances other than just death. You think about it. Know that you're grateful for somebody. Thank you for your life. Thank you for being you. You don't have to be some sort of hero, just for being you. I ask your forgiveness if there's anything holding, and sometimes there is in families, shame to be, and I forgive you, and I love you. Probably the goodbye you could hang on to for a while. Okay, so I am grateful to you. And I ask your forgiveness for anything that I may have done. I think I may have talked long, and maybe I'm doing that again today. But I also forgive you. I don't know. The only thing I can think of that I would forgive you for is that one prayer after the Our Father, when there seems to be everybody charging downhill, and I'm still praying. I'm always conscious of that. You'll learn, you'll see when I meet talking about. And then I love you. And it hasn't been difficult to know and to learn and to come to love you. So I say goodbye, maybe just so long. See you. God bless.